and welcome to Bisconia. Today I'm going to summarize an article for you. It's written by Wendt in 1992 and it's called Anarchy is what states make of it, the social construction of power politics. You can either go and read the article for 10 hours or watch my video and get the idea in a few minutes. I'm sorry Wendt, I love you. This article is a very important piece if you're studying IR. It comes from a constructivist perspective and, as you already know, it talks about anarchy. But it not only talks about anarchy, but it criticizes all the previous approaches to it, which are the approaches that come from rationalist theories, aka neorealism and neoliberalism. So what Wendt wants to criticize is the assumption of anarchy in these theories. So he wants to explain that anarchy is not something given, it's something constructed. So obviously, the main argument of his article is that anarchy is what states make of it. But he divides this article into three parts. The first part explains that anarchy does not have to be a self-help system or a power politics system, as neorealists would argue. And the first reason for this is because states act towards other actors on the basis of meanings that they have for them. So for example, you will not act in the same way towards a friend than towards an enemy. So starting by this, one says, well, anarchy doesn't have to lead states to conflict, because you can have friends where you don't have conflict, and obviously, well, he acknowledges that there can be enemies. The example he gives for this is the end of the Cold War. So during the Cold War we had the US and the USSR being rivals, but this changed at the end of the Cold War, and he says actually no theory can explain this. The only theory that can is Constructivism, saying that this relationship changed because the meanings that one had towards the other changed, and therefore anarchy or the system changed as well. Before states interact with one another, they have no expectations, so therefore they have not a specific way to act. So therefore anarchy was created when states interacted, because before they interacted, they didn't even know anarchy existed. So if anarchy happens to look like a self-help system or a power politics system, it's just because the practices of states made it that way, not because it really has to be like that. And finally, the third part of his argument refers to institutional changes of identities and interests of states. Wendt argues that identities and interests of states can change because, as we have argued, all these are socially constructed. So if these change, the nature of anarchy can change as well. So we can go from a Hobbesian anarchy to a Lockean or to a Kantian. So that's why anarchy is not always, doesn't have to be always the same. Changes in the system can happen, and these happen when identities and interests change. So for example, going back to the example of the end of the Cold War, when the USSR dissolved, realist theories or liberal theories cannot explain this because they see anarchy in a very specific way, which is absolute. Constructivists argue that the only reason this could have happened is because the identities or the interests of the Soviet Union, for example, or from the US, changed. And therefore the system could change and the nature of anarchy could change. So there you have it. Anarchy is what states make of it in just a few minutes. Thank you for watching and see you soon.